Let's talk about one of the biggest shifts happening right now: how technology is completely rewriting the rulebook for work. And honestly, it's happening way faster than any of us could have predicted.
So take a look at this number, 50%. What do you think that is? Hybrid work adoption? Maybe the rise in video calls? Nope. It's something much, much bigger than that.
That's right. A recent Gallup poll found that half, literally half, of all US employees are now using artificial intelligence on the job. This isn't some far off future trend anymore. It's happening right now. We've officially crossed a major threshold. What this means is that the way we work has been completely upended. We're not just talking about new apps or tools. This is like a whole new operating system for how business gets done. And, understanding this shift, it's not optional anymore. It's absolutely essential for every single professional out there. Okay, let's dive into this. First, we'll look at the new workplace reality. Then we'll break down the two main pillars driving it all: the huge shift to remote work and, of course, the AI boost. After that, we'll get into the leadership challenge this all creates, and we'll wrap up with the key takeaways you need to know. So, let's start with our first big topic: the new reality of work. Flexible work isn't just a perk or a trend anymore. It's become a core part of modern business. But it has also created some really fascinating tensions between what leaders think is happening and what's actually happening. And this right here illustrates the problem perfectly. It's something Microsoft has called productivity paranoia. Get this, you've got 87% of employees saying they're super productive working from home. But at the same time, a staggering 85% of leaders say they just can't be confident that's true. That gap? That's a massive trust deficit. But here's the thing. Despite all that paranoia from the top, the shift itself is absolutely undeniable. Research shows that nearly 80% of people whose jobs can be done remotely are now either in a hybrid or fully remote setup. The office just isn't the default anymore. And this is where it gets really interesting. It turns out there's a powerful link between flexibility and high performance. According to research from Great Place to Work, the most productive companies out there are overwhelmingly the ones that embrace remote and hybrid work. So what's the real takeaway here? It's not about where you work. It's about the culture and trust you build. Okay, now let's talk about that second pillar, the AI boost. Because if the remote shift changed where we work, AI is fundamentally changing how we work. It's augmenting our skills and really becoming a collaborator in our day-to-day tasks. So what kind of boost are we actually talking about? Is it a small one? Well, a huge academic study that looked at thousands of workers found that, on average, giving people access to a generative AI assistant led to a 15% jump in their productivity. And just to be clear, this wasn't in some lab. This was measured in a real-world customer support center. The agents who used an AI tool were able to resolve 15% more issues every single hour. This isn't just a theory, folks. This is a real, measurable impact on the bottom line.
So, who gets the biggest benefit from all this? You might be surprised. The same study found that AI's biggest impact was actually on the newest, least experienced employees. It acted like a great equalizer, helping them ramp up to the level of seasoned pros so much faster. It's basically closing the skills gap in real time. It completely changes how we should think about training.
And just so we're all on the same page, when we say generative AI, we're talking about the kind of AI that doesn't just analyze stuff, it actually creates new things. We're talking text, code, summaries, you name it. It's less of an analytical tool and more of a creative partner. So we have these two incredible forces, remote work and AI, completely reshaping our world. But you know what? Deploying the technology, that's actually the easy part. The real challenge, and frankly, the real opportunity here, is human. It all comes down to leadership. Which brings us to a really critical question. With all these amazing productivity gains, does technology just solve everything? Is it some kind of magic bullet for all the challenges of the modern workplace? Well, the data shows it's a little more complicated than that. In fact, the answer is pretty fascinating. Gallup's research uncovered something they call the remote work paradox. Check this out. Fully remote employees report the absolute highest levels of engagement. Awesome, right? But they also report the highest levels of stress and loneliness. So that freedom is powerful, but it definitely comes with its own set of human challenges. So how do you solve for a paradox like that? One word: leadership. At the 100 Best Companies to Work For, an incredible 81% of people say their workplace is psychologically healthy. But at a typical company, that number just plummets to 45%. The difference maker is a leadership culture that goes all in on building trust and well-being. And this quote from Julian Lute at Great Place to Work just nails it. He says, "When times are tough, leaders have the greatest opportunity to build trust." Navigating this huge transformation is tough, for sure, but it is also the single biggest chance leaders have to forge a deep, lasting bond with their people. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground here. So let's boil it all down to the most important things every single leader needs to get right to navigate this new world of work. So the crucial point is this. 1. Flexible work is not going anywhere. The data shows it works, but only if you have a high-trust culture. 2. AI is a massive productivity multiplier, especially for your newest team members. And 3. Technology creates new human challenges. As a leader, your most important job is to manage the well-being of your team through it all. And that really leaves us with one last big question for you to think about. Technology is moving at light speed, but is your leadership strategy keeping pace with it? That might just be the most critical question for every leader in this new era of work.